At the Electronics of Russia 2025 forum conducted on 25 November 2025, Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Vasily Shpak announced a major new support initiative designed to enhance domestic electronics manufacturing. According to the ministry's plans, the government will begin offering compensation for Russian electronics manufacturers, covering up to 30% of the cost per unit of domestically produced equipment used in the fabrication of radio electronic products. The highest amount of this compensation shall not exceed 50 million rubles per equipment unit. Beyond direct subsidies, the Ministry of Industry and Trade intends to offer preferential financing at an annual interest rate of 3 to 5% to enterprises engaged in the mass production of equipment essential for electronics manufacturing. Overall, the ministry is prepared to allocate approximately 3 billion rubles for these initiatives between the years 2026 and 2028. Shpak underscored that these measures are not just isolated financial incentives, but constitute an integral component of a comprehensive initiative to develop and enhance Russia's autonomous manufacturing capabilities within the electronics industry. Given the prevailing monetary policy environment, in which securing financing for industrial expansion has become challenging and costly, such support is, as per the ministry, of vital importance. An additional aspect of the program pertains to the manufacturers of the equipment themselves. Domestic manufacturers will have the opportunity to secure long-term preferential loans of up to 7 years for the purpose of organizing production. The utmost amount of such a loan will amount to 300 million rubles, with 50% of this sum being subsidized by the Industrial Development Fund. This mechanism is intended to facilitate the expansion of Russian engineering and technological enterprises, enabling them to develop competitive, completely localized equipment for the domestic market. Nonetheless, access to these measures shall not be granted automatically. To qualify, companies must verify that their equipment is registered in the Register of Russian Industrial Products, which confirms that the equipment complies with the established standards for domestic origin. For this reason, the ministry has drafted amendments to Government Decree No. 719, which specifies the degree of localization necessary for products to be recognized as Russian. These amendments are anticipated to be formally published in early 2026. According to Shpak, the integration of subsidies, preferential loans, and more stringent localization regulations is essential for a fundamental reason: to enhance self-sufficiency within a key sector of the economy and to restore the confidence of consumers and enterprises in domestically developed technological solutions. The Russian electronics sector has encountered considerable difficulties in recent years. One of the main worries is the sizable expense associated with outfitting modern manufacturing facilities. The production of microelectronics, radio components, printed circuit boards, photonics equipment, and intricate assemblies necessitates highly specialized and costly machinery. Much of this equipment has historically been imported, and the transition to domestic manufacturing has demonstrated great cost and complexity. The wider macroeconomic context further exacerbates these difficulties. Elevated interest rates have rendered credit costly, hindering numerous companies from modernizing or expanding their production capabilities. Shpak observed that, under prevailing monetary conditions, it can be highly challenging for companies to obtain financing and invest in expanding their production capacities. An additional persistent challenge is the degree of confidence in domestic equipment. Numerous companies in Russia continue to favor imported solutions, considering them to be more technologically sophisticated, more dependable, or more established in industrial applications. This skepticism is further reinforced by challenges related to complex processing operations, the limited demonstration of indigenous technologies, and inconsistencies in component compatibility with current manufacturing processes. To improve confidence, enterprises frequently must reconfigure or entirely recalibrate their production lines, an expensive and time-intensive undertaking. By providing financial assistance to both equipment manufacturers and electronics producers, the government seeks to reduce the obstacles to such transitions. This support program, therefore, seeks not only to promote investment, but also to transform Russia's technological environment, encouraging enterprises to adopt domestic equipment, thereby fostering a virtuous cycle of progress. At the heart of the program are the criteria that determine whether equipment qualifies as domestic. These regulations are established by Government Decree Number 719, which delineates the criteria for localization across various categories of industrial products. For numerous categories of electronics-related equipment, including semiconductor wafer processing machinery, automated assembly systems, laser devices, and high-precision milling apparatus, the decree delineates specific point-based criteria to evaluate the extent of localization. For instance, specific categories may stipulate that particular types of mechanical components, control systems, casing elements, and software originate domestically. Some may mandate that a specified proportion of the production cycle occurs within Russian territory. The forthcoming amendments are anticipated to clarify and reinforce these regulations, guaranteeing that only truly localized equipment qualifies for inclusion in the register. Once the revised decree is promulgated and the equipment is formally registered, companies acquiring such equipment will become eligible to receive up to 30% reimbursement of equipment expenses, limited to a maximum of 50 million rubles per unit. Preferential loans at a rate of 3 to 5% for initiating serial production. Loans of up to 300 million rubles for domestic manufacturers, with 50% subsidized by the Industry Development Fund. This dual-track framework is intended to promote both supply and demand. Electronics manufacturers benefit from more affordable and readily available equipment, while equipment producers achieve financial stability and receive incentives to expand production. The main objective of the new support initiatives is unequivocal: to enhance Russia's ability to manufacture its own electronics and radio-electronic devices while markedly decreasing reliance on imports. The electronics industry is vital not only to the civilian economy, but also to national security, digital infrastructure, industrial automation, and technological sovereignty. If effectively implemented, the program has the potential to expedite the modernization of manufacturing lines nationwide. This includes upgrading obsolete equipment, implementing innovative technological processes, and reducing manufacturing costs across a broad spectrum of electronic products, including microchips, sensors, communication devices, power electronics, and advanced materials. An additional predicted outcome is a boost of consumer confidence. As more companies implement domestically manufactured equipment and report favorable results, the perception of Russian industrial technology may improve significantly. In financial terms, subsidies and preferential loans mitigate the risks faced by companies, thereby enhancing the feasibility of large-scale investments. For many organizations, the ability to reduce equipment costs by nearly one-third and to finance expansion at single-digit interest rates can be transformative. Although the initiative possesses significant potential, certain hazards and limitations must be acknowledged. Satisfying the localization requirements outlined in Decree Number 719 can be difficult. Many types of advanced technological equipment still depend on intricate imported components, such as precision optics, specialized sensors, distinctive microchips, or proprietary control software. Even with a point-based evaluation system, achieving eligibility may prove difficult, especially for newly established enterprises. A second limitation is financial scale. 3 billion rubles over 3 years may not be sufficient for the long-term needs of the electronics sector, which often requires investments in the tens or hundreds of billions of rubles. A third risk pertains to market demand. Even with subsidies and loans, companies must ensure that their products will secure stable buyers. Equipment manufacturers must prove that their solutions are dependable, technologically advanced, and competitively priced. Ultimately, success will rely on the establishment of a comprehensive ecosystem, including certification frameworks, training for engineers, testing and metrology infrastructure, and efficient after-sales support. Without these, even high-quality equipment may face difficulties in achieving acceptance. The new initiative forms part of a broader national effort to enhance Russia's microelectronics, radio electronics, and electronic mechanical engineering sectors. Russia aims to build a self-sufficient industrial ecosystem capable of manufacturing essential components domestically, including semiconductor substrates, integrated circuits, communication modules, photonic devices, sensors, and industrial controllers. Government programs, projected through the year 2030, anticipate the creation of many new technological production pathways. The primary objective is to substantially decrease reliance on imports, thereby improving economic sovereignty and resilience to external disruptions. The newly announced compensation and credit measures directly address financial obstacles that have historically hindered modernization and industrial expansion. Key developments to observe in 2026 include the publication and enforcement of new localization requirements. Another factor will be how quickly companies begin submitting applications for compensation and preferential loans. The performance and competitiveness of domestically manufactured equipment will also be crucial. Finally, the state's ability to expand funding if program demand exceeds initial expectations will be significant. The main consideration will be whether domestic manufacturers can provide equipment that meets or exceeds expectations, not only in cost, but also in quality, accuracy, dependability, and long-term support. In final remarks, the initiative announced by the Ministry of Industry and Trade, providing compensation of up to 30% of equipment costs, offering preferential loans at 3 to 5%, and allocating nearly 3 billion rubles for the period 2026 to 2028, represents an ambitious effort to strengthen Russia's electronics and radio electronics sectors. When executed effectively, it may accelerate industrial modernization, reduce reliance on imported equipment, and reinforce technological sovereignty. However, challenges such as strict localization requirements, financial constraints, and the need to build confidence in domestic equipment remain significant. Whether this program becomes a turning point for the industry will depend on execution and the readiness of enterprises to adopt domestic technological solutions. If you think the video was informative, please like, subscribe, and share. Please also take membership of the channel to encourage us.